Time for the mailbag as we get going here on the special spring football preview show. Abby, where are we starting off?
Okay, first one. Which player on offense and defense does Nebraska need to have a massive spring?
Oh, I'm going to say Ives. I'm going to say Quentin Ives. That you need depth at that running back.
I think Sam Sledge.
Okay.
That's a good one.
From the conversations that we've had about center.
Good one.
Robin?
I'm going to point to one of those other wide receivers, and I'm going to say Cortez Mills. If he has all that potential that Sean is alluding to and that others that we've heard have said already, then he could be a legitimate X factor in that receiving corps.
You also could say Elijah Pritchett or Rocco Spindler.
Yes.
I mean, you could really say Elijah Pritchett because you want him to be the left tackle.
Yes.
You want him to be all he's cracked up to be. You want him to be better than he was at Alabama. You want him to be the player Alabama thought he was going to be.
On defense.
Okay. Who do they need to have a huge
I'm going to go
spring?
Nwarny.
Who?
Williams Nwarny.
Okay.
Winery.
And I would go Lenhart.
Van Poppel.
Okay. Yeah. All those guys are good.
If those three guys are good, Nebraska's going to be just fine.
Yep.
All right, next question.
Okay. What player's time is now or never?
Oh, God. Okay.
Well, how about Judy?
Yes. Yeah.
The senior member of the biggest question mark on the roster. They need him to be good. The time is now.
Oh, God, that's a good one.
If you're not going to be that guy now, it's clearly never going to happen. So pressure's on, Elijah. Answer the call.
Kind of now or never for Malcolm Hartzog.
Yeah.
I mean, Hartzog has got to stave off young guys. He's coming off a year where he was vulnerable at times. As you guys know, I really like Malcolm Hartzog as a player. You never worry about him effort-wise. He shows up all the time, but it's got to happen for him. He can't be as vulnerable as he was last year.
What about Turner Corcoran and Teddy Prohaska?
Oh, it's now or never.
Very much.
Well, they're in their last year, but I don't think. I mean, just their window of opportunity to prove that they can play at a high level is not. I mean, they're not going to get a huge window, a huge runway.
Probably not.
I mean, beyond this season too. Like if they have pro aspirations, like they got to start putting something that they can make it through a full season.
Yeah, that's a good way to justify the now or never.
Well, I don't know if this is even fun, but like a guy like Turner Corcoran, if he doesn't like the direction of where it looks for the spring for him, what's to stop a guy like him from going in the portal to make sure he plays for his final year somewhere?
He's got to be on the field again. If you're looking at the next level, like you got to go out there and kind of re-earn some trust in your stock.
Boy, guys are already going in the portal
But people like that, like nothing would stop him because if he knows like he's not in the discussion to play
into the portal,
he's got a big decision ahead, and there will be a market for linemen. There always is.
Now, that being said, how much does Nebraska have to lean on its offensive line depth? And you got a guy that can play almost every position on the offensive line, a senior. So, like, that's an incredibly valuable piece to have in your room.
Yeah, he's got leverage here.
Next question.
Doesn't he have leverage?
I think so. I mean, to an extent. To an extent.
I mean, he hasn't played a lot of football in a long time, though.
But he can play those positions, all of them, pretty much.
And Gunnar Gatula coming back to something to watch, like after his shoulder. How do they replace or reinsert him into this thing?
Well, he earned
playing time.
Yes, he earned a look, a chance. I mean,
he's got some equity.
Yeah, a lot of equity.
Okay, next question. Which incoming transfer has the highest expectations heading into the spring?
Dane Key.
Yeah.
Dane Key. He is your number one wide receiver.
Then I would say after Dane Key, Desan McCullough.
Yep.
Then Winery.
Then Winery.
Well, I mean, Spindler and Pritchett are obvious.
Yeah, they're all, yeah. They got some guys they need. Well, obviously, they're portal guys. They're veteran players. You don't bring them into to be non-factors. All of them are critical.
Another one, Kevin Galick.
Yeah, how about that? Yes. The most important position on the roster, as we learned the hard way last year.
At St. Michael's, when we showed him up on the screen, it was like a huge applause for the long snapper.
Funny. The coaches are just like, oh boy.
Like they chuckled. John Butler just laughed. You could just see it on his face. I was like, oh boy.
Kevin Galick. I mean, if you're a coach and you're going on the road to play Ohio State and you watch practice that week and it was shaky, that's not a good feeling.
Your long snapper looks like a rock skipper.
Yeah, that's a bad feeling. That's a bad feeling.
I mean, that's what it looked like. 10 block kicks.
Right.
I mean,
Yeah.
on some of like John Hall's missed kick against Illinois, it was a bad snap and a bad hold. Like, I mean,
The Purdue game when Rule described one of the snaps as being in the ground. It wasn't even a skip. It just went in the water.
I mean, it was like the football was like a puppy on the ground, and they had to like pick it up and scoop it up. I mean, it was just laying there.
Really interesting.
So
analogy.
yes, that might be the answer right there.
Yeah. Kevin Gallick
Gaelic.
Gaelic. Was
from
it Gallic or Gaelic?
Yeah, Gaelic. You have to think.
Never trust Sipple on
Well,
pronunciation.
Sippo's going with it, baby. All right, next question.
Okay, next question. Which new coach has the toughest job ahead of him, and which one has the pieces to be great?
Braden has
Braden.
the toughest job.
Braden.
First year, really I'm going to say a first year full-time collegiate coach. He was at Bethune-Cookman. He was at Florida Atlantic in GA type roles, analyst type roles. This is a big job for him. He walked under probably talked about part of the spring. First kind of newish coach walking into what Robin aptly described as the biggest question mark on the team. Which makes me wonder how much Rule will be with that group. Rule with a background as a D-line coach. I wonder how much Rule will be with them.
Quite a bit.
I think so, yeah.
Well, I think they lost Jamari Butler to the portal,
Yeah.
and James Williams followed Tony White. And
Good point.
they had some established pieces there.
I know. If you had Butler and
James
Williams, you'd think a little bit different. You would. It would be much more solid.
like the Mekhi Bayer loss, I don't really look at that as like they upgraded in a lot of respects.
more of a linebacker.
But I'm talking about just defensive losses, like starters they lost in general because of the coordinator change and NIL market. But Butler's kind of an irreplaceable type of guy,
So
$500,000, right?
maybe more.
At LSU.
coaches set up for success, I'm going to go Addison Williams because of
You think so?
that room. The veterans they have returning, the young talent they have coming up. He's got more options to work with than any coach on that staff.
The only reason I hesitate a little bit, Rob, is because they struggled last year. They got a lot of the guys back that struggle. I when you look at that chart,
But they have young guys that can replace that.
right?
Da'Keel Shorts, guys, has a great situation he's walking into. Even though they don't have a lot of proven production, I think the potential is huge there.
Mhm. So the reason I go Williams is just because they do have guys that have been there and done that here. Now, that what they've done has been a little up and down, but you at least have that core, that nucleus of just veteran guys that you know what you got.
Oh, yeah.
Whereas receiver, outside of Dane Key and obviously Ja'Cory Barney, there's not a lot of known commodity there.
No, and I get where you're going, and I like it I also like that defensive backs room from a character standpoint. You have really solid dudes. Marquise Buford is a great character guy. Sierra Wright is a great character guy. Deshaun Singleton, great character guy. Malcolm, great character guy. They have talent, but they're also very reliable guys.
All right, final question, Abby.
Okay, so this spring is not going to end in a traditional game, but they're going to have some contests, some 7-on-7. So, which former Husker are you looking forward to watching during the Husker games? They're going to do some skill competitions and stuff.
You know who lives in Omaha? That would be great to get back. Kenny Bell. Put Afro Thunder.
Yeah,
He's still spry. He could do it.
Spry probably go shirtless for the competition.
I mean, remember his
He used to do interviews without a shirt on a lot.
his Hale varsity cover shoot with the sport coat without the shirt on underneath it.
Yeah, I imagine he'd be shirtless for this competition.
Brandon Riley's around.
Who are we looking forward to, Abby? We don't know who's coming, so I don't.
So how about we phrase it? Who would you like to see? What former Husker would you want to see?
Okay, let's do.
None of the '90s guys are going to want. I mean, they're like 50.
Yeah.
Like, I mean,
hey, what about Will Compton? He's already had
Could
a
be
huge
electric.
presence around the program.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
he does the hype videos. I just think of the
Oh, yeah.
promotion that just him being there
Oh,
would
yeah.
give them on a national level. So, I mean, there's the value in that. And then, these guys pushing for year 10, let's get it going.
Garrett Nelson's done with football. Get him back out there for fun.
That'd be kind of fun. Who would I look forward to seeing? Randy Gregory. I'd like to see Randy Gregory sprint out.
Do you
there.
think he's set foot in Nebraska for a day since he's been done playing here?
No, which would make it even more
How
interesting.
about Richie?
Richie would be great. That would be incredible.
We were that close to having him on our show. He confirmed to come on, but day after the Adam Schefter
Adam
ESPN
Schefter, yes.
blow up deal,
And then he pulled the plug.
and then his lawyers pulled the
lawyers
plug.
pulled the plug.
We had like the link out to him.
Hold on. Jamal Lord, anybody? Jamal Lord coming in. That'd be
Yeah.
interesting.
You're getting
that'd be great.
You're getting to that old guy territory because he's my age and I'm an old guy, and so
Yeah,
like
you are.
that'd be dicey.
I mean,
Knees don't do what they used to.
you have a hard time getting like a CJ Zimmer to commit to play because he's like 30 now.
Yeah.
I mean, I mean, like, how many guys that are like 50 are going to want to play in this?
Some of those guys you see, like Corral, when we saw Corral this summer, he doesn't even look that much different, and he's probably in his own
Cluster
sport.
could play probably. He's in
Yeah.
good shape
You know
still.
who would be the best 7-on-7 guy? Amir Abdullah.
Yeah,
He's still playing in the league.
I know.
yeah, he'd be.
So I'm saying,
incredible.
like he'd be like
He'd be incredible.
MVP.
And
immediately.
Burkhead would still be good too. He's
Would
not far
Damon
removed.
play?
Damon probably be pretty good. You'd have to worry a little bit about hamstring pull territory.
Little soft tissue issues.
Yeah.
Character.
Carrick would be great. I think Robin nailed it. Amir would be the MVP type, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. He'd be unstoppable.
Yeah. It'd be fun to watch him.
Well, we'll have some
Lamonte.
fun with it
yeah.
It'll be interesting.
after Sipple buys everything at the garage sale.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get your shopping done early.
Yeah.
Christmas shopping.
For some reason, I think about like a hurdle. I'd like to have a hurdle.
Do we know if they're going to be selling hurdles?
I don't know.
What would you do with a hurdle?
Sipple thinks they're going to be selling like shot puts,
Shot put.
That'd be cool.
Yeah. Having your back.
javelins.
It's just whipping around your back.
Tear of the neighborhood.
Hammer throw.